fangirls. This is Angela Anderson with Angela's Literary Cafe. Guys, I am super, super excited. Okay, I'll let you in on a secret. I was fangirling behind the scene, okay, or what have you, but I'm super excited because I have Nisha Sharma, guys, hanging out with us. Okay, y'all ready for this? Bam! The dating Dr. Dill. As well. See, Nisha, I'm so excited. I'm trying, my words are getting all messed up. I'm just excited to have you here with us. But guys, if you're just joining us, I'm sure you have seen Dating Dr. Dill around on the social media streets, just everywhere, available in stores, all of that good stuff. And so Nisha Sharma, guys, is hanging out with us today to talk about her latest release, which happens to be a rom-com as well. Nisha, can you introduce yourself to the people?
Sure. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited that we get to chat. I write young adult and adult romance novels. I've been writing for, gosh, I don't even know how long. And my first book was My So-Called Bollywood Life, which is a young adult rom-com. And my first adult romance was The Takeover Effect, which is like written like a category romance.
Okay.
The way that I pitch it is like Brown billionaire Succession.
Okay.
So and then Dating Dr. Dill is my first adult rom-com. I currently live north of Philadelphia. I have 3 pets, and I married probably one of the few South Asians who I found in Alaska.
Okay.
And my Alaskan-born husband, and I'm currently working on my next YA and the follow-up to Dating Dr. Dill.
Okay, so first of all, guys, she done hit us with several headliners, okay? So she also writes YA and adult romance books as well, but she just told us that there's going to be something else coming after Dating Dr. Dill. So I love that. She gave us a little bit of tea for that as well. And so, Nisha, before we go and get into the book, okay, because it's just amazing. I love to read. We got to talk about this cover. Girl, let me tell you, I love this cover. And okay, I can see both of us, we're chilling out, Karina. We got our little glasses on. And I really wanted to have on a sweater vest today, okay? Because let me just tell you, when I read that, that's my girl. That's my friend, because I love a sweater vest. So tell us about this cover, and then we're going to talk about the sweater vest a little bit, because I heard it through the grapevine. You had a little stint with some sweater vests as well.
Yeah, I went through a sweater vest phase in my 20s. I'll start with the sweater vest, and then I'll get to the cover.
Okay.
So basically, when I had gone to law school, and after graduating law school, I started working at a small business in New York City, doing corporate contracts and working on diverse supplier contracts. And despite the fact that I was highly competent for my role, I worked for an all-white leadership team. And so I felt like in my early 20s, being so young, working with people who were like twice my age, and also being one of the 3 people of color in this office, which is, it was just really like very apparent. I felt like the need to wear like this uniform. And so, I had to like unpack that as a professional later on.
Okay.
The authenticity of like, how I want to show up in an office. But at that time, I felt like I was fighting so many battles that the one thing I didn't want to fight was like me showing up and like being a professional, like having to fight for professionalism, right? So it was like this sweater vest period that I went through for like forever. And also like I was a 90s baby, so there was like sweater vests in the 90s that just like they had their moment. And so I always found the sweater vest look like super fun, and that was like my cardigan, right? There's like a cardigan moment, like that was my cardigan. And so that's how like the sweater vest piece like came into Dating Dr. Dill, because Karina as a character, she's like all about like showing up and like being very like I'm here for a reason.
Yeah.
And her, because of her mindset, we had to do the sweater vest. And the cover, if you look at the cover, the movie poster of 10 Things I Hate About You,
Uh-huh.
it is the exact same like setup, right? If
Okay.
like so what we did was I sent in the movie poster of the movie 10 Things I Hate About You, which is also a Shakespeare adaptation.
Mm-hmm.
And I sent in like a couple like actors and actresses that I thought were really great. I provided a list of South Asian artists that I thought would be fantastic for the job, and so they went with this South Asian artist,
Uh-huh.
Farhina, and Farhina did an incredible, like on the first try, like she nailed it. She got the characters, she got the look. I mean, like Dr. Dill is like a super. I mean, like super fine.
Yeah.
So did such an awesome job, and I was super happy with it. I thought the whole cover experience
I
was really great.
I love it's definitely eye catching. And like I said, when I started reading it and the whole thing with the sweater vest, I was like, yes, Karina's my girl because I love a good sweater vest. And you can, you can dress it up. I mean, a pencil skirt, some trousers, a cute. I mean, you can just really, rock
Yeah.
it. And I just fell in love with that as well. And I was like, okay, on the cover, she got her little sweater vest on. I'm loving the whole glasses thing. And okay, if y'all when y'all read the book, y'all just know, Dr. Pram, he was kind of feeling them glasses.
I feel like he's
Yes.
constantly like he's about to like break them though, because every time like there was like a spicy scene, he's always throwing them across the room.
Right.
I'm like, what is happening?
Yes. So I want you to share with us a little bit about this particular, like you said, this is adult rom com. What inspired this story? And I know you have a little, you have a little obsession with Shakespeare a little bit, the whole Taming with the Shrew. Can you tell us what inspired this story and how it ties into Taming with Shrew?
Yeah, so when my husband and I were dating, he was living in DC and I was living in Pennsylvania. So I'd go down to DC to visit him. And on the weekends, we'd kind of like tour some of the museums. And one of the museums is called the Folgers Library. So
Uh-huh.
the Folgers, like Shakespeare Library, has the largest collection of Shakespeare Folios. So Shakespeare Folios are like the sheets of paper that Shakespeare like wrote his plays on.
Oh, wow.
So there's like so many different copies. It's a private library. It's beautiful. Like highly recommend going to see it. But like there's so many different versions of each of the plays because I was talking to one of the scholars who was at the library doing tours, and he was saying that Shakespeare never really like no one really knows what's the original play
Okay.
because Shakespeare had this tendency to like adjust his work in order to cater to the audience that the play was
Uh-huh.
being presented in front of. And that kind of sparked this idea of like, what if I take these concepts in Shakespeare's plays and I apply it through a South Asian lens and I like direct it towards an audience that is like familiar to me.
Okay.
So that's kind of how the seed was planted. And so the first thing I thought of was I write very voicey, so like I have like very much like a rom-com style. So as a writer, I thought it was very natural for me to gravitate towards these rom-coms. And
Okay.
so I picked my like three favorite rom-coms. My favorite one is Much Ado About Nothing, and that's going to be book two. But
Oh, nice.
one of the ones that I like loved the adaptations for more than I loved the actual play was Taming of the Shrew. So like
Okay.
for those of you who are like not familiar with Taming of the Shrew, the play is about an older daughter and a younger daughter. The older daughter is considered a shrew, and the younger daughter is considered this princess. And the older daughter is like considered violent, but also incredibly beautiful. And they have a single father who just wants his daughters out of his house and out of his hair. And like his whole thing is like, my younger daughter can't get married till the older daughter gets married, but no one
Right.
wants to marry the older daughter, so I don't even know how this is going to work. And the hero is this guy who needs money, and he's like, I will tame the shrew in order to basically just like get the money that I need. And so Taming of the Shrew is actually kind of a terrible play on its face,
Right.
because it's like this guy is like abusing this woman, emotionally manipulating her and abusing her throughout the course of this play. And so the way that I looked at it is like, I was like, yes, Elizabeth Taylor's version of Taming of the Shrew is really great because she does such an incredible job in Taming of the Shrew. And she does like a lot of work with it, right? Because you're constantly seeing how she's processing like some of the stuff that's being thrown at her, and how she uses it in the time period that she's in to her advantage, because women were just tied to a role at that point in time. And so the way that I looked at adopting it for a South Asian perspective is, I could go the very stereotypical role, right? Like in this book, like I could go with all the stereotypes. The youngest daughter has to get married. The oldest daughter has to get married before the youngest daughter gets married. Like arranged marriage, like a hero who's trying to tame this wild wife. Like I could go with that ridiculous stereotype like process, but I was like, no, I want to do what Shakespeare could not have done, which is unpack stereotype, unpack gender roles, unpack gender identities. And so the way that I did it was, there's like 3 moments in Taming of the Shrew, which is like, he like starves her, he like doesn't let her sleep, and then he like tries to get her to like basically he wears her down until she says whatever he wants her to say. And so in Dating Dr. Dill, they're constantly eating. The only time that she can like feels like she has the ability to have a full night's sleep is when she's with him. And he's the one who has to change his perspective at the end.
Yes.
So that is how I flipped the play.
Well, you did an amazing job. I mean, from the banter between the two of them, the aunties, oh my goodness. This book, guys, it's a rom-com that gives you all the feels. But Nisha, I had something special for you today, okay? I have a special surprise guest for you. She just want to pop in and say hello as well. And she is amazing. And actually, I am so excited to bring her up. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Hey, Nisha.
Oh,
how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so excited to see you here. So Angela asked me to pop in and just say hello and be a surprise guest. But I do want to say really quick that the Mona auntie in that book
is based off of Mona.
Guys, let me tell you, if you have not read this book, the aunties are just hilarious. I love the aunties in this book.
I don't know if the personalities are all that, but I'm okay with the Mona auntie personality that she put in there. I'm like, that's me. I could be that person. I'm totally fine by that. That'll be super fun.
I love it.
But Angela wanted me to pop in and just tell you how much I loved. I mean, you know this. I've told you that how much I love Dating Dr. Dill. And my favorite part of this book was, and I just heard a little bit of what you were saying, was her steadfast like determination, and like the fact that she did not back down, not only from the house thing, but from what she felt she deserved in terms of love, right? Yeah. She could compromise at any point to shut everybody up. You know, and even with Dill, she could have, but because she clearly had feelings, but she didn't. Like, and I don't think that's spoilery either, because if you know Nisha, I think that that was one of my favorite things. And then I did love having him have to change his perspective. That's just, it was fantastic. So it was obviously well done. So I did really enjoy it. And I have one question for you. It may not be a quick question, but I have this issue that's happening to me personally right now. So I'm like, let's ask Nisha. So at any point when you're writing, and it could be Dill or it could be any other book, like, do you get to a point where you're like, huh, I really don't know what happens next. Like, I don't know how to get these people out of this mess. They're in a great mess. And how are they going to get out of it?
So
You're more of a plotter, maybe. I don't know.
I am a plotter, and I'm also a professor. So I like, my students ask me this question all the time. And I think working with them more so than working with my own books, I figured it out. And I think it's because I'm from like an outside perspective with them. But if you get stuck in a book and you found yourself in a place where you don't know how to get out of it, you've made a mistake about 30 pages back. So go 30 pages back and find out what decisions your characters made in order to get into that position. And then just think about potentially changing the direction that far back in the book and see where that leads you.
Very good advice.
Wow, I love it. Mona, great question. And any authors out there or aspiring authors, Nisha just dropped some major nuggets there for that as well. And yes, Nisha, I wanted to surprise you with Mona Shrew to come and hang out with us a little bit. And just again to tell you how much, and tell our watchers how much she enjoyed dating Dr. Dill as well. Guys, if you're just joining us,
it's so good to see you, friends.
Yes, an amazing read. Okay, Mona, before we let you go, we got to ask you this. Are you a sweater vest person?
I am not a sweater vest person.
Mona breaks my heart constantly because she's not even a chai person.
I do drink chai, but I am a coffee person 100%. Like, I could be like, I want to fit in a little bit more and be like, no, I do love chai. I can make a good chai. And there are times where, like, for me, it's more of a family thing. Like when there's like a ton of family in the house and everybody's making a pot of chai, I'm like, let's have it.
Okay.
But just me on any other given day, you know, I'm hitting the coffee. I mean, I can't lie. That's who I am. I'm a coffee girl.
I love that. I love that.
Sweater vest. Like I did love the sweater vest in this character. Like, I love that we could keep coming back to that. And she just didn't change. She was just like, this is who I am.
Yes.
I love that she knew who she was, because I honestly feel like not everybody gets that. Like, I feel like even I'm way past her age, and still there's days I'm like, who am I today? Right. And we do struggle with that all the time, I think, especially as women. And it was so amazing to see that. And I can imagine other girls reading that and being like, she is not compromising. Why should I?
Right. Yeah. I loved her character. Karina was actually one of my favorite characters. I mean, even from like the very beginning, you know, when you was describing her and things of that nature too. And oh, well, I won't give it away because you have to guys read the book. But even that first scene about her birthday, like my heart like began to just pour out for her. I think I was like Team Karina from like the very beginning. From the very beginning as well. Guys, if you're just joining us, we are hanging out with Nisha Sharma, guys, on tonight, and she's telling us about Dating Dr. Dill, which is available where books are sold as well. Mona Shrew popped in as well just to tell us how much she enjoyed the book as well. Mona, thank you so much for being a surprise. Yes, we appreciate you.
Of course, it was great seeing you both. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, Mona.
Bye-bye.
I love it.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Now, Nisha, tell us what did you enjoy about writing Dating Dr. Dill?
So Dating Dr. Dill is my pandemic book, right? So It was like the book that I wrote at the deepest part of the pandemic, where they were talking about a vaccine, but there was no like end date yet. Like everyone was like, when is it coming? Is it coming? When are we going to be able to get it? So it's that moment of uncertainty. I think some of us like forget about that moment of uncertainty, like that happened, that we all lived through together, that like collective trauma that we experienced. But in the process of like writing, of like working and trying to figure out like what project to do next, as I sat down to start plotting Dating Dr. Dill, one of the things that was very, very clear to me was that I wanted to create a book that brought me joy, because maybe that was the kind of fun, rompy joy that other people needed too. So like the things that I enjoy about it are like the smaller like nuggets that may not really like have a huge impact on the story, but they were important to me because like I love those things and I wanted
Okay.
to have them in the book. So the sweater vest is an example, and the Taylor Swift references, and
Yes. And that playlist, boys and girls, let me tell you, if you already have the book, it is in the back of the book. But let me just tell you, take a look at that playlist, listen to it. You would definitely enjoy it, especially if you're a Taylor Swift fan as well. But I love that playlist. So I'm glad that you mentioned that as well. Now, Nisha, I want you to share with the individuals. I'm gonna name out some of the characters, and I want you to kind of tell me a little bit about them. Let's start with, since we've talked about Karina a little bit, let's start with her. If you had to give us 3 words to describe her, how would you describe Karina?
stubborn, loyal, and romantic.
Ooh, I like those 3 words. Yes, and guys, if you haven't read the book, when you read the book, you would definitely know why she said those 3 words for her. Okay, you know we got to talk about Dr. Prim. Tell us about him.
The 3 words, or just like tell
You
you
can,
about.
yeah, you can just tell us about him.
So Prem in Hindi means love.
Uh-huh.
He's a cardiologist. Dill means heart, and he does not believe in love because he thinks it's bad for heart health.
Yes.
So that's like the premise of the story, and a lot of it is because of this like past that he had, where he like was completely destroyed by the loss of someone that he cared for deeply, that he thought was just a friendship, a companionship. And he's convinced that if God forbid he ever loved her, he would just like not be able to like survive. And he did all this research, and funny enough, I did a lot of research, and there is a significant amount of like scientific articles that basically say like love is bad for heart health. And so he has this stubborn belief that like love is just not something that is sustainable. I feel like my light is just, oh, there we go. That's, maybe that's better. But one of the things that I will say is that Brahm's belief in companionship as the basis for relationships is very much rooted in the concept of arranged marriage.
Uh-huh.
And so the book is actually like on a higher level, a commentary on like the way that people are viewing modern arranged marriages
Uh-huh.
and also viewing love marriages. And I don't really
Right.
get into the arranged marriage concept because it's rooted in casteism, it's rooted in classism. So there's huge like conversations that are happening around that.
Uh-huh.
So I just talk about like how the impact is like on the diaspora
Yeah.
versus like the actual like this construct. So that's kind of the 2 philosophical views that these characters have.
And I really love your balance of, you know, like I said, you don't go into detail, but you give enough like to give us like a premise to go on. And I like when you kind of you share, you know, both, you know, about love marriage versus arranged marriage. And let me just say, boys and girls, when it hits the fan, oh my goodness, your comedic action in here is just like hilarious. I mean, like I said,
Thank you.
it's a rom-com at its finest. I loved it. Like I said, you had a great balance of the laughter between the balance, giving us the Indian culture. I mean, all of that. It's just a fantastic read, guys. If you're just joining us, dating Dr. Dill, hanging out with Nisha Sharma. As you guys can see, I'm super duper excited about that. And okay, tell us a little bit about the aunties, and you can pick 1 or 2 to share about, because guys, it's a lot of them. But I mean, tell you will fall in love with the aunties. I mean, they have the best of intentions. Okay.
So Taming of the Shrew, like the play that the story is inspired by, is actually like a story within a story. So like if you're reading the play, like you're finding out that it's like a couple of people telling this very drunk man a story, and the story that you're hearing is actually what Taming the Shrew is. So like I wanted to have that kind of like separate story element in the book. And so the aunties became that because they kind of have a life of their own with their text messages. And then there's the woman who writes the gossip column about giving like love advice, but not to the people who are falling in love, to their parents on how to get their kids to fall in love. And so I have to say that my favorite was the four aunties that are Karina's like adopted moms. Karina's mom had passed, and Karina's mom had these really close friends, and these close friends practically helped raise Karina since she was 12 years old. They have a little bit of the Indian auntie stereotype where they're very nosy. They're all about her like settling down, but that is because in the very beginning of the book, Karina asked them to help her.
Right.
So
the whole chain text message that they had. And one of the parts, and the guys, again, no spoilers, you got to get the book. All I'm going to say is when they had Dr. Dill or Dr. Prim over, hilarious. That's all I'm going to say, guys. You got to get the book. I mean, when he was like, are the aunties here? And that's all I'm going to say. And he already knew. If he could run out the door, that would have been hilarious. And so, Nisha, we have to play a game or this or that. I promise you there's no right or wrong answer. It is all things according to you. Are you ready, my friend?
I'm ready.
Okay. All right. First one, this or that. Are you more of a plotter or a pantser?
I am a plotter to the core. I have like 3 outlines for the book that I just wrote.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm a big plotter.
Now for this particular book, and we're gonna go back into this or that, but for this particular book, what came first for you? Did the characters come for you, or did the plot come to you?
Definitely the characters. Karina was the first one who kind of fully formed in my mind because
nice.
I had although I had the Taming of the Shrew, I guess in a sense the plot also came first because I knew that I wanted to use the Taming of the Shrew framework, but I didn't have like the modern day adaptation version of the plot. I just had Karina. Like I was like, oh, okay, Kate is great, but Karina is someone I can relate to today.
Oh, wow. Thank you for sharing that with us. Okay. Are you a morning person or a night owl?
I start my day at 4:30 a.m.
Oh, okay. Now, do you have a certain set of time that you write and then you have other things that you have to do too, or?
Yeah, so like on days where I'm like the week before a deadline and the week of a deadline, I am writing all the time.
Okay.
Because like I always feel like some sort of breakthrough happens when like the actual time starts, like the clock starts ticking. But for the most part, I write in the morning. I write about 3 to 4 hours in the morning, and then I try to do like all of my admin work at night before I go to bed.
Nice. All right. Are you more of a podcast listener or audiobook?
Podcast. I'm a
Alrighty.
podcaster. Yeah.
And this one, I think we know the answer to, but are you a cardigan girl or are you sweater vest?
Sweater vest. I think I'm a sweater vest person to the core.
I love that. Now, for you, Nisha, is it a road trip or plane ride, my friend?
Well, personally, I would say I'm a plane person. Like I would on a flight to go to Boston, like if I have to, instead of driving the 5 hours. But my next book is a road trip story. So like,
gosh, she is spilling the tea. I love it.
Yep. So I have to say a little bit of both.
Okay. And last to know here at the cafe, are you team tea or are you team coffee?
I am tea.
I love that. Oh my goodness, guys. If you are just joining us, look, Tiff Happy Place, she's excited about the road trip. She's like, road trips are awesome. As well, guys, we have been hanging out with Nisha Sharma, her latest release at Dating Dr. Dill. And of course, there is a giveaway as well. Nisha, can you share with us what the giveaway is going to be? It's
a copy of Dating Dr. Dill. It's Yeah, I think that's it, right?
Yep. So, guys, well, let me tell Nisha how we do it here. I'm going to go up and down the comment section. Nisha, you're going to tell me when to stop, and that person will get a copy of a Dating Dr. Dill. Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. When you tell me when to stop.
Stop.
All righty. And the winner is Midnight Ace Book Bar. You are the winner of a copy of a Dating Dr. Dill. Midnight, if you will inbox me your mailing address information, I will get that over and we will get a copy of Dating Dr. Dill out to you as well. Thank all of you for joining us on today. Nisha, can you share with us how can they get their hands on a copy of Dating Dr. Dill?
Dating Dr. Dill is available wherever you like to purchase your books. I highly recommend supporting indie bookstores. They are the backbone of our communities. So please support your local indie. But if you do not have access to a local indie, they are available online at bookshop.org, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, all of it. So
I love that. You heard it, boys and girls. It's available where books are. So get your copy of it. Of course, after you read it, of course, tell a friend about it. But make sure you leave a review. I know Nisha Sharma will be so appreciative of you guys leaving a review. It is a great read as well. And Nisha Sharma, please tell us, how can they stay connected with you?
So my handle is in my name. It's at Nisha Writes. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok with all of that, with that handle on all of the platforms.
I love that, guys. Make sure you follow her on social media. And Nisha, do you have a website and is there a newsletter that they can sign up for as well?
I do. So my website is nisha-sharma.com. And you can go to my website and also sign up for my newsletter there. I actually just converted to a Substack. So you can see my previous newsletter that was posted, and you'll be able to see all of my newsletters going forward.
I love that, guys. So go to her website, sign up for her newsletter as well. Follow her on social media. It has been amazing hanging out with you on today, Nisha Sharma. And like I said, I'm super duper excited about Dating Dr. Dill as well. And Nisha, I'm going to allow you to have the last words. Is there anything you want to say to our viewers on tonight?
Thank you so much for having me here. I'm so excited that we got to chat, and I'm just really excited to continue to share, Dating Dr. Dill with new audience members. So I hope you enjoy the book.
I love it. I love it. There you have it, boys and girls. That's our show on tonight. Angela Anderson hanging out with Nisha Sharma for her latest release, Dating Dr. Dill. Like I said, guys, make sure you're following her. Make sure you read it. Leave a review. It is an amazing, amazing read. And as I always say, boys and girls, have an amazing day because we're having an amazing day. And until next time, guys, we'll see you later. Bye.